Welcome to your weekly flow. Today we're going to explore some stretches that you can do if you have plantar fasciitis or if you just want to work into the muscles of your feet and calves. So plantar fasciitis is something that I've had a lot of students mention recently, that they struggle with pain in their feet while practicing yoga. So these are some tips and stretches that you can do to help just loosen things up and hopefully decrease some of that pain. So today we'll be working with a yoga tune-up ball. So this will just be for part of our stretches. Some of them will be body weight, so it's okay if you don't have one. If you have a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball, or even a foam roller today, that will work as a substitute. So we're going to start up on our feet. And for this first stretch, we're going to work into the calf. So you'll want to have a wall nearby. So for this, you'll come up close to the wall. Keep 1 foot forward and step 1 foot back. So we're stretching that back calf. So think of pushing your back heel down toward the floor. So I'm going to start here with my right foot forward, left foot back, and just wiggling that back foot back until it feels like it's going to take a little work to get that heel toward the floor. And just gently pressing your heel toward the floor, feeling the back of that lower leg start to stretch. Today we'll just hold for about 5 slow breaths. You can keep some kind of consistent pressure, pushing that heel toward the floor. You can ease in and out of the stretch, whatever feels best for you. So we'll start slow with just a few breaths on each side, knowing that as you practice these stretches, as you repeat them, you can increase that time, maybe go up to 10 to 15 breaths. And we'll go ahead and switch to the second side. So when your left foot forward, right foot back again, taking that wiggle of the back foot, just until it takes a little work to push that heel toward the floor till you feel your calf, that back side of your lower leg, start to lengthen. Bending into the front knee as much as you need, almost this lunge stance here. A few breaths. And then slowly release. Coming into a standing ankle stretch. You can have one hand to a wall or a chair for support. As you take your front foot stable, so we'll keep the right foot forward first, the left foot back, and let the top of your foot, the top of your toes almost settle onto the floor. So you can bend into that front knee as much as you want, and that back foot as far as you want, just looking for a little sensation along the top of your foot, the front of your ankle, just some natural pressure coming down through that foot, nothing too forceful. We'll again pause here for a few breaths, thinking of standing up tall, relax through your shoulders, your face. A few slow breaths here. And then switching to that second side. So left foot grounds now, right foot back, tucking the toes under. Coming to the top of your foot, finding that nice easy stretch along the top of your foot, the front of your ankle, adjusting to a place that feels okay to hold for a few breaths. And then slowly release. You can give your feet a little wiggle, shake it off. Next, we're going to bring the ball under 1 foot and just start with some pressure here, kind of right in the center of the foot, right that center of the arch. So just gently breathing in to kind of send the pressure into your standing foot, and then breathing out to push your foot a little bit into that ball. So just doing this a few times, shifting the weight over to 1 foot and then the other, just noticing kind of where you start to hit those sticky points, those places that aren't super comfortable along your foot, that maybe need a little help breaking up some tension. Take this a few breaths here. Hitting a few different points along that center of the foot. And then we'll start to roll the ball. I'll turn sideways so you can see, but just slowly rolling from the toes to the heel, kind of along that center line of the foot. Finding gentle pressure, a little weight through this foot, just so we can start to, again, dig into those sticky spots. Notice if there's any particular place you want to pause for a few breaths along the way. And we'll just roll it out a little bit more here. And then coming to a place where your heel can ground, and that ball will be kind of at the base of your toes, so kind of where you feel that ball of the foot. And then we're just going to kind of come to the inside edge. So here I'm right kind of on the edge of that big toe, and then rolling to about the pinky toe. So my heel is staying where it is, and I'm just kind of making a little rainbow, a little arc around, massaging out the base of the toes here. So you can do this a few times. Positioning as needed if that ball tries to get away. Good, and then take a last little roll out of this first foot, and then we'll switch to the second side. So again, starting with a little pressure just in the center of the foot. So weight into your standing foot on the breath in, weight into the ball on your breath out. So just kind of shifting that weight a few times, trying to relax the toes. Feeling some pressure, looking for those sticky spots. Good, a few different places to pause along the center of the foot. And then we will start to roll once again. So from the heel to the toes, all the way up and down, kind of that center line of the foot, just slow, consistent pressure. And this might feel like a lot the first time you do it. That's something that you can ease into over time. The body will get used to it, make a little more space for you. So we'll roll here a few more. And then finding that place where the heel can ground that ball now at the base of your toes, working from the inside edge of your foot to the outside as you make this little arc, this little rainbow with your foot. Just moving that area right at the base of the toes. Doing this a few times, and then maybe one more roll out on this side. And you can let that go. So the next thing we're going to do is to help strengthen your feet. So building out some of that foot strength can help decrease the pain that you might have. So we're going to bring the ball between kind of the area around your heels just to keep our feet close together and have something to kind of hug into. So you could even do this with a block between your feet. And we're going to work on strengthening the toes. So first thinking about pushing your big toes into the floor and see if you can lift up all your little toes. And then think about pushing your little toes into the mat and see if you can lift up just your big toes. That one's a little harder. So you're just going to alternate between these two, and maybe to get started you can have your hands kind of help push those little toes down. Feel what it's like just to lift the big toes and work into this. So this is something that will take a little bit of time to kind of feel into that specific strength, but if you practice this a little bit every day, you'll start to notice that you get a little better control of those toes. So see if you can do that, lifting just the big toes and then just the little toes a few times. We'll go ahead and set the ball aside for a moment. Coming now to a pose we call broken toe pose. So come on down to your hands and knees. We'll start here. Finding kind of that balanced shape, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, as you curl your toes under. So we're getting the undersides of the feet now, the undersides of the toes. And this may already feel like a lot for some of you. And you can just stay here and breathe. Otherwise, you can start to add a little shift of the weight, hips toward your heels, rocking forward and back a few times. And if that feels okay, you can keep the hips shifted back, walk your hands in a little closer, and just work your way into a more upright position. And then see if you can stay here for about those 5 slow breaths today. Relaxing your shoulders, steadying your gaze ahead, just letting the weight sink in. We do very little that is focused on the bottom of our feet, especially this stretch under the toes. So it's probably going to feel like a lot. Take just a few more breaths here. Again, something we build into over time. Maybe starting with just 1 breath, working your way up to 5. And then we'll go ahead and take it out. You can tap the tops of your feet off here, and then flip around to your seat, taking your ball with you, or if you have that foam roller, this is a great spot for that. So we're going to come to our last little bit of calf release. So I'm going to bring the ball under my right calf, so kind of just right along the center of that meaty part of the leg, and then cross the left leg over. So we'll do this today just in 1 spot, but know that if you're going to spend some time working out your calves, you could do this in a few different spots, kind of along that center portion, a little bit lower, a little bit higher. So here I'm just letting my top leg rest on the bottom leg and bringing my hands behind my hips and just feeling that weight settle in. So you can relax your feet here and just kind of notice that pressure into a meaty part of the calf. And then a few times just to flex and point through the feet. So you'll feel that sensation around the ball or around the foam roller shift. Whatever object might be under your leg. You could even try this with a rolled up blanket to get started, or something that's a little more firm. taking this a few times just to break up whatever might be in that little spot. And then when you're ready, switching sides. So bring the ball now under the left leg, right ankle crosses over left, finding a place to sit mostly upright. Feel that weight drop down through your lower leg, right around the ball. And then once you've found, maybe readjusting to find the spot that feels like it needs it, we'll start to flex and point the feet a few times here. Taking it nice and slow to feel that shift around the pressure points, that change in sensation as we work into different places, even in this one spot. Last few movements here. And then carefully releasing that ball or foam roller from under your legs. So those are just a few options to start with. I recommend repeating these stretches as often as possible. As with anything, one session of stretching is not going to make a lot of change. If you spend 5 minutes a day, even with a few of these movements, you'll hopefully see some progress in a week or two. Let me know what you think and if you have any other questions on this topic.